Are you leaving money on the table, not split testing your Shopify? If you've never split test, yeah, you probably are. So super short, this video is about how you can test one theme versus another on Shopify without using a developer. It's a little bit hands-on and you have to use a bit of code, but I've written it all out and it will be super simple. So with zero technical skills, you can do this. What is split testing? I imagine you'd already know since you're on the video. However, if you don't, split testing is just testing multiple things at once to see which one works better. So an example of this, if you've run ads before, it's like having two different images and two different headlines, and you test them together and you see which one performs better. And the idea is that with each test, you learn a little bit more about why your customers are converting or why people take the actions they take, and you just optimize and make it better. So the reason you'd split test with a Shopify is for the exact same amount of traffic, for no additional ad spend or anything like that, you can basically increase the amount of money that you make purely because more people that reach your site end up converting. So that's what we're testing. Let's not overdo it. Keep it simple. Okay, so I'm going to be using a reference from a theme that I set up for one of my guys. He was doing a footwear sale. Check them out. But yeah, so we basically have the main theme. And if I go to the domain where you sell, this is the theme. This is how it looks. All good. Now, let's say you wanted to split your traffic and put half of them on a completely different theme. This is basically how you do it. The benefit of this as well is, let's say you wanted to just duplicate your current theme and make some changes. It's actually super simple. You could, instead of having to build an entire new theme from scratch, you could just change what you already have. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to use a different one because it'll be very obvious the difference. Now, when you are here and you go onto preview, you can technically see the different theme that we're using. That's great. In theory, could you run traffic here? The problem is no, because if you just take this URL and then send it to a different website, it doesn't actually make a difference. It's the old theme, or the current main theme. So you can't just use that link. And also there is this weird thing at the bottom saying, oh, this is a preview theme. And obviously nobody is going to buy from a website that does not look professional because it's money. It's not how it works. So we kind of have two problems. How do we get somebody to be able to access this URL and it's this theme? And how do we get rid of this bar? Because there is a share preview thing here, but the problem is it's some weird ugly URL, which also no one's going to buy from. So we can fix two of these problems at the same time. What you need to do is you need to go to the theme that you want to use instead of the main theme, and you have a preview button here. I need you to right click and then copy link address. If you paste out the link address, you'll see it's got the domain, which is all good, but there's this thing at the end, which is preview theme ID. When you do this, in short, don't worry, you don't have to know about it. But when you access a Shopify with this, it will basically set whatever store you're using to the theme ID. It disappears as soon as you've done it. See that? So when you go on preview and then try to send this link to someone, it doesn't work because that part of the URL is missing. But really, that's all you need to send to them and it will work every time. So that gets rid of one of the problems, because now you can literally just send traffic to the domain. You can even get rid of this stuff. And it's just, preview theme ID and you get the ID. So it's super easy to split the traffic. The problem now is this admin bar. I made a custom script for this because frankly, it was the only way I could find to get rid of it. Don't worry, I will put this in the comments somewhere so you can access it. This is where it does get a little bit technical. In the duplicate theme that you're using, that you want to divert traffic to, you need to go to edit code, and you are looking for a global.js or a theme.js. So I think the basis of this was the Dawn theme. I built it on top of that, uses global.js. Some of them use theme.js. Just be aware of that. Look for that main file. If one doesn't exist, in fairness, all you need to do is make sure that the script is included on every page. And you find that out by going to layout, theme.liquid. And in here, like every time you render a page, it runs these scripts. So you just gotta make sure that whatever you're using is imported. So technically any of these will work, constants, pubsub.js, global.js, but it's confusing if you just put code in random places. But in theory, anything in the scripts part here could be used. You need to go to that file, and then at the very bottom, I need you to paste the script. Oh, it looks like I've already got it here. Nice. Okay, and what this script does is it lets you set your own method of getting rid of that admin bar. So what we need to do is, I've got a parameter here that we need to use is external preview. When you are using this site, if you put is external preview equals true, I've already added the script, remember, and I press enter. Every time now the admin bar will disappear. So yeah, you don't need to know more than that. Just put in the code. Which means in the end, the way ultimately your separated URL would look is it would have the new theme ID, and it would have the is external preview. So for example, now we can combine the two here. It would be, yeah, okay, and theme preview equals the ID. So make sure you got that is the Shopify one to make sure that it sets whatever store you're using to a different theme. And this is our internal one to make sure that we get rid of the admin bar. And just as an example, I will do it on this page. The domain goes to here. This is incognito, so this is like no cookies. This would be what it's like on a different person's website, machine, sorry. If you paste in, it's the same domain, is external preview, and the theme ID, bang, and that's how you can split test. So now you just run traffic to this URL and you run traffic to that URL. Super simple. I hope that was helpful.